Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session of Influencer Insights, where I have Fabulois from Saskatoon joining me. She's a model and entrepreneur, all kinds of cool things she's going to share today with us about inspiring others and being a part of finding a new path, a bigger path in life. And she's got some really great stories along the way of how she's done that, people she's ran across. So, welcome, Lois.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, everybody.
So tell us a little bit about your background. I know you and I have talked a little bit beforehand, but there's some details of where you got started modeling. You kind of started maybe a little later in life than some, and you've done some other entrepreneurial things in your lifetime, had a career, I think. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, okay, this is, I've actually been on my own since a young teenager, and it
Nice.
just so happened, like it wasn't an argument with my parents or anything like that, but they moved off the farm and my brother took over the dairy. And so I moved to the next small Saskatchewan town and worked and went to school, finished high school. I was a very responsible adult, I guess, or, from a
Sure.
young age, being the youngest. And so I had, my two other sister and brother that I hung around with, and they were fine with that. And yeah, did that, worked at various jobs, throughout my career and or lifetime and things like that. And so then I think, well, maybe it's been 10 or 20 years ago, I don't know why. I just pondered upon something different. What could I do? I always had that little creative side to me, I guess. I'm a photographer.
Cool.
And so, yeah, a fanatic one, if you will. And so anyway, I just thought, modeling, acting, that kind of thing would be and something for me. And
Yeah.
I guess if I thought back, like in my day, when the Sears and the Eaton's catalogs came out, like I basically lived for that 2 times a year, like, and kept, looking at those pages and, what were they wearing, what color was in, and now
Mhm.
when I think about it, I'm like, I kind of had that in the back of my mind. Like I was manifesting my future, if you will, right? It just, it was something that I just truly enjoyed and looking at all that all the time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if I think about that now, that is definitely something that probably propelled me forward. And yeah, so I started looking into it, what I could do, or, and especially because I was already like considered the mature classic model. And,
Sure.
but I kind of put that aside and thought, I can do this. I can do these things. I've always had that mindset, I guess. Even, I will think about it, I'll research it, and then I will just give it my whole 110%
Sure.
and go for it. Look into it. What can I do? And so it just happened. There was an ad, and I went, and suddenly, you're taking a picture, and I'm in, and I'm like,
Boom.
okay, like. Okay, I said yes. So now I'm in, right? I cannot go back.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just been really rewarding. This is like about 4 years now that I've
Wow.
been doing this, and so it's gone forward. So yeah, I'm really loving it.
Yeah. Interesting. It's such a lifetime journey. You bring up the Sears catalog, like, you know,
I know,
I mean, I remember the wish book and that kind of thing, but I know some of the people that have been on the podcast, they weren't born and it was probably gone already. But
right?
those are kind of cool that inspired you even
Yeah,
then, right, to come to a
I
place
didn't
where
look
you
at the toys pages. I didn't have no interest in that,
that wasn't a thing.
no, it wasn't my thing. So yeah. Mhm.
No, that's very cool.
Mhm.
Wow. And small town Saskatchewan. Do you mind if I ask where in the province or?
In the Rosthern area, so
Okay.
about an hour north of Saskatoon. Yeah,
Nice.
from
Nice.
yeah. So
Beautiful
in that
country up
area.
there.
Yeah, very
It's
nice. Yeah.
not as flat in that part of the world as everybody thinks the Saskatchewan is,
Oh,
right?
well, I tell you, when people say that our province is flat, I was just in Humboldt about a week ago, and there's hills, right? I've been up
Yes.
and I've covered actually almost every square inch of this province, I will say, because
Nice.
I've just
So
done,
much to see.
a lot to see and a lot of photography. And like I said, yeah, I do go a little crazy, but it's actually paying off now because, well, not in so many words, but it will, because I consider myself a photo artist. And so I actually do have some of my cards and magnets and that kind of thing in about
Nice.
6 or 7 shops in Saskatchewan. So
Cool.
I definitely want to, expand on that as I go. But uh, like anything, it all takes time, and
Yes.
and how to get out there and marketing, and of course, I'm not one to just have one thing on the go. So
Join the
so I
club.
have to,
Yeah.
and I'm good at managing my time and stuff. So
Good.
it's working out. Yeah, it's
So
really working out.
photography you do largely is it landscape? Is it like old buildings
Yes.
and scenery and that kind of thing, or is it?
It is. I have done the weddings. I have done a couple weddings,
Okay.
and let me tell you, they are. And now I don't even know. I wouldn't even probably stand a chance, because the photographers out there are like super super good
Amazing.
and
Yeah.
so creative. Like I'm friends with quite a few of them because I just love their creativity.
Sure.
And but yeah, I have done them, and they are work. Like it really is. But no, I really like the wildlife, the scenery, just driving around. Like it's unbelievable. Like, and the lighting, like how it's different from early morning even to
Yes.
afternoon, or
Golden hour and
it's just really neat. And even if I've gone to the same church or the same barn, or
yeah,
whatever,
your
it's
favorite
always
spots.
different. It's just different. Like it's always a different light. So yeah, I like it a
That
lot.
that's so cool. And to be able to, the one thing that I love about art is that it's really just your own expression of the way you see things, you present it. But one of the challenges I think a lot of people have had is like, how do I turn that into something that I can generate even a little bit of revenue out of, right? To
Yeah.
buy the gas to go drive around. So
Yes.
so having that piece combined where you've got some things for sale in a store and you're working on
Yes.
promoting that way, I mean, that really helps out, right? So
Well, I was, and that's another thing I want to do more of, is I was actually in artist residency in actually in Canmore and in East End. East End
nice.
is a treasure trove if anyone is ever traveling. Like
Interesting.
seriously, it is fascinating, and the artists that are there is a lot, but they all support each other, and I love that. Like I just love that. And so I got to know this little cafe, and of course it's and I love these places. It's
Yes.
coffee and art,
Perfect.
and little goodies like homemade stuff,
Perfect.
right? And so I fell in love with that place. I was there a couple of years ago now for artist residency, and so yeah, well, yeah, she took my stuff on right away, my cards and whatnot, and so it's
Sure.
just been fabulous. So yeah, it's just really good.
What's
And
like,
actually, even the T-Rex Center has my items. So, but
oh,
all those things, like if someone, you've often heard too, and I will even think it too. Oh, you're so lucky, or oh, how did you get that? It doesn't come overnight, right?
no,
And it's in my mind. And so that's one
sure.
other artist that I know. She says, well, oh, actually, last year at the Sask Fashion Show, and I think you were
Hmm.
there too. And I knew a couple
Yes.
of them that did the wearable art. And she goes, "Yeah, this is what
Yes.
we do when we can't sleep." And I'm like, "Yeah."
That's it.
we
Exactly.
we think of what can we do, where can we go, where can we have these our items in, and how can we move forward and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's always research, progress, and just go. And once you do one, it becomes easier and stuff too, and more interesting.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Building
Mhm.
building blocks all the time, right? One step after another. So
Exactly. Yeah. But
yeah,
I'm also the type that I want things yesterday, but I'm totally realizing, like, no, we need
takes
to,
time.
do it in steps. Yeah.
Good. Good for you. No, that's pretty cool. And yeah,
Mhm.
small town Saskatchewan success story right there, right? So
Exactly. Right. I know it. And I know one of your questions, and I may be jumping around, is you had
no.
what people don't know about me,
Hmm.
is probably a lot, because, and I won't dive into that part of my story, but
Sure.
I'll just say that I don't want to put this out the wrong way. This is my story. I don't want anyone else to think, oh, just because I've
That's right.
done this now, where I was a an overweight child,
Okay.
and all my life. And so it's been maybe 20 or 30 years. I decided one day, and this is what happens to me when I decide something one day, and then that's it, right? I'll go for it. And so that one day I just thought, yeah, no, I'm done with being overweight. And actually before that I had some health issues.
Sure.
So it wasn't just, ooh, you know,
Yep. Kind of prompts it though,
I
right?
wanted to live, and I want to live long.
Yeah.
And I thought, and so, yeah, between me and my health practitioner, we we're like, yeah, I think that would really help. So yes, and someday a book on that will come out, but
Good.
I have reduced by, this will be the first time it's out, 180 pounds, which is
Holy
a
smoke.
lot. And
Wow.
it's a natural way. I had no surgeries, no nothing.
Good for
And
you.
I had to find what was right for me. Like, what could
Yes.
I eat? Not that program, which, you know, I've been on millions of them, right? I had to do what's right for me. How much, you know, body movement, or what felt right for me, and so forth and so on.
Yes.
And so with that came, of course, for me, more opportunities, or my mindset, right? That was the
Yes.
first thing. Like when
Gotta
we were
change.
talking about mental health off camera, is where that impacted me hugely, because I was like, well, who am I, and how could I do that, and how will I fit in that seat, and what are they going to serve, and where's the food,
Right.
and oh, I could never talk in front of a camera, and I could not even do that or this or that. And you know, now when I see like all types of models out there and acting, I am so happy, because everyone is included, and I love that.
That's
I
right.
really love that, and all ages. And
Yes.
I it's and so yeah, with that came, you know, way more confidence, and even opportunities. People do look at you sometimes a little differently, and so forth. And now I'm like, you know, I'm like, I will do how
Whatever.
I feel and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a roundabout story, I guess. But
Cool.
that is probably
That's
for a whole other day.
super inspiring. And if anybody's listening to this, you can't see Lou, you'd never know that that was a thing. So so
Yeah.
congratulations. That's awesome. So
Mhm.
uh what I guess just to jump back to the modeling for a sec, when you made the decision to go in there and you got signed, what was some of the work that you were able to do some shoots right away, or how did you get kind of going on that end of things when you started? So
Oh my gosh. Yes. Actually, I think it was in 2021. I don't know if people recall, there was actually on CTV, and it was a diversity segment. And so that meant, like, I had a woman in a wheelchair do my
oh
makeup. And
wow.
then, yeah, it was fabulous. Like we had, and of course, all shapes, all sizes models, and
Right.
that was wonderful. And of course, I was one of the, you know, the mature ones, or this age group. And so I got included with that. And so we were on TV. I still have the clips and everything.
Yes, that's
And
very
so that
important.
was almost one of my almost one of my very first ones. And so talk about a confidence builder, right?
Mhm.
And it was fabulous. And from there, I think I came home and cried, because I was so grateful and so happy about my model family. Like
Right.
we were all ages, and it still is like that. I have never had a bad experience where anyone says, you know, "Ooh, why are you here?" and this isn't for you, or
Yeah.
anything like that, or you're too old, or it's like that is one thing I've been assured of, is there is a place for everyone.
Mhm.
And I love that. I just love that. And that really, I think, sets a tone again in your mind, that, you know, even though sometimes, you know, I will apply, you know, for different things and stuff, and I won't get called back or whatever. And I'm like,
Yes.
okay. But then
Gone.
the next one, suddenly I do. Like I just suddenly did a little ad this week, and it was over noon hour, and you know, for the next campaign and stuff. And I'm like,
Nice.
okay, you know, so
Things just
yeah,
flow.
it's yeah so that was one of them. And so from there, wow, done a lot, actually, if I think about it, or for me, I think I've done a
Yeah.
lot. Like I've
Yeah,
done
for sure.
for jewelry, for brand photo shoots. I don't know if I can say them or not, or give a shout out. Oh, I've done a lot for, okay, Discover Saskatoon actually is one of them.
Cool.
I've done quite a few for them. And so that will bring me maybe to another question. And I know you're the leader in this, but so it was a canoeing thing last summer, and really I have only canoed once in my life, and that was
That
probably
time.
40 years ago, if I must say so. But anyway, it was going to be for a campaign and for their campaign and stuff like that. And
Sure.
so anyway, I'm like, no, I'm doing it. And I already had it set in my mind that I'm not going to, right? I was going to go for it. And I'm glad I did. Like they had a little
Yeah.
101, about canoeing and so forth and stuff like that. And I just, I was out on the water and I'm like, I'm actually doing this. Like it was, and it's in your mind. Like, when you hear the saying, it's all in your mind, like you can turn it around and say, yeah, it is. Because when what we think comes to you, maybe not at that moment, but I'm a true believer of that, where
Yeah.
what your thoughts are, whether I don't even know who said it years ago, whether you think you can or can't, either way you're right.
Right.
Like I know
Yep.
there's a quote out there like that, and it's so true. It really is so true. Yeah. Yeah. So
It's
yeah, I've done quite a few for them,
good.
and just I don't know, clothing brands and all kinds. And the best one I think so far, and which shows my diverse modeling and acting, if you will, was last summer. I was part of, I think there was 3 or 4 of us, and we were out in the country, and we were doing, like, again, a campaign for this place. Anyway, we were on quads.
Fun.
it it was such, oh my gosh, it was like the best ever. We were like, if this is modeling, we're in, like,
Yeah, let's do this all
and
the time.
so it was fabulous. And so I love that. I really like that I'm not restricting myself just to the runway.
Yes.
Like,
That's
so
right.
I'm loving all these options that are out
Yeah.
there. And
I
I
don't
like
think
that.
people realize all the time because it's every time I talk to somebody about modeling, they've got this preconceived idea of this is what you must do, right? And it's like,
Yes,
well, I mean, you can,
you
or
can.
you can do this, or you can do this, or you can do like there's lots of facets to the whole thing, right? So, but
It's it's really unbelievable. I mean, anywhere you see someone wear any type of clothing or jewelry or anything, I mean, you need a model for it. And I also like doing
yes,
voiceover. So I
cool.
do voiceover for a local radio station here for their ads. And I love doing that. And I'd like to do more of that because,
Yeah.
yeah, I've worked with the university in Regina. And again, this is another little touch point, I guess, is sometimes you don't get paid for everything, but
That's right.
I say go for it anyway, because it gives you experience and it puts you on your resume. And
Yeah.
and it was
Exposure.
for their university class, their drama class. And so yeah, my voice was used in their puppet and stuff like that, so it
Cool.
was super fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It it's kind of amazing, I guess, for me being from Saskatchewan to think about all the things that you've been able to do, being right in the province too, right? Because we often think you got to go to Calgary, you got to go to Toronto or whatever, right? But there's still
Totally.
things going on here too, right? So
There is. It's pretty amazing. I mean, like I guess, and for me, sometimes it's stuff I do on my own, right? I'll see it online or stuff
sure.
like that. And so like last year there was the new building that we have all access. Okay, I'll give a shout out. You can probably cut it out if you need to. But anyway, they were having their fundraiser and so forth. And so okay, they're looking for models. Guess what? I'm going to apply. And, no one told me about it or any, like I did it. I do that on my own. So there's often lots of opportunity out there. Like don't wait around for someone maybe to,
Yes.
knock
Phone
on
you.
your door kind of thing, because there is stuff out there, and belong to groups, and see what they're
Yeah.
doing, and so forth, that is like something that you like to do, and stuff, and talk to people, or And the other thing I like too is we're supporting each other. Even though, like, because I know, some of the younger models and stuff, and I'm like, oh, so I'll email her or text her or whatever and say, hey, this is out there. I think, this is going to be for
Try
you,
this. Yep.
kind of thing. And so it goes a long way, I think, that
Does.
that type of support, because
Yep.
it's just good to do that. It's yeah.
Comes back around, even if you're not always expecting it. But I mean, how could
It
you?
does. It does. I totally believe it does. Totally.
Yeah, I can't remember who I talked to. Somebody who did some modeling in LA, and they talked about how, like, realistically, one of the big things, I mean, you got to have a certain look and all that, obviously, but
Yes.
like, if you're arrogant or you're hard to get along with or hard to work with, don't show up, don't get there on time, don't communicate. They're like, they don't call you again, right? But if you
Yes.
kind of work on all those things and try and be supportive of the community, it goes a lot further for
Yes.
you, right? So, and that's
That
just
would
about anything in
really.
life.
Yeah.
Surprise,
You are so right. Uh, be professional, be on time, look your best, or however that you are, right? Or that you can, or for the part, if you're acting or
yes.
something,
Yep.
like follow the guidelines. And I know this one campaign, they wanted, these certain colors
Sure.
to wear.
Sure.
And well, I'm going to do my best, darn it, because, and now when I see the pictures and they're online and they're on that website and stuff, right? And I'm like, wow, like I'm quite proud of myself, because I like doing that. And that will, like, now I've been called back, for other campaigns. So I think,
Nice.
yeah, that I think maybe did go a long way. I did go that extra mile, maybe to find, I don't know, a red scarf or whatever it is, and stuff like that, dig through your things. And yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Try to be helpful. The process goes a
Mhm.
long ways, right? So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Cool. Cool. Do you get out and just do some shooting and stuff with, like, I mean, you're a photographer yourself, but do you have other photographers that shoot you that you have a chance to get together with, or is it
Yes, actually, I have one tomorrow, and here is
nice?
another how I operate.
Yeah.
It, um, so I know, I don't know. She, of course, had this online, and I'm going, yeah, I need some new shots and headshots and this and that and whatever. And so, of course, um, and granted, I'm not totally ready for it. Like, okay, that is one little thing. Sometimes, I will procrastinate a little bit, but
Sure.
somehow, like, I have it in the back of my mind, what I want and this and that. And suddenly, these ideas just come. So, but anyway, I'm like, oh, I do know about this new higher end consignment shop. And I know her
Cool.
from a few years now, modeling and acting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she bought this. And so I've been seeing sometimes, how photographer and a clothing store, and I've done a couple of those collaborations, and I've been wanting to do it with her. So, I emailed her. I said, I'm doing this photo shoot. Would you be interested in this collab? Sure. Like, and so yeah, I hopped over there, and I don't know, got 5 outfits or something like that. And so,
Nice.
it's so that's again, um, it was something that I thought of. And so sometimes you have to just, reach out a little bit, and off you go, like, most of the time. And if it's a no, it's okay. Move on to somewhere else, or someone else. They might want to do that. So yeah, yeah. And I will say, I am, my phone is my lifeline. It's
Yes.
not
No
even my
kidding.
phone, it's my computer, and it's my camera, because I hardly talk on the phone, on my
Sure.
phone. But
I know. Incredible tool.
I do lots of reading, research, looking into this and that, and yeah. So, and like you say, a lot of times it just pays off because you happen to see this post or this whatever that's out there.
That's right.
Yeah.
What I know some people really struggle with kind of that rejection piece, and you just touched on that. It's just about moving on. But like, have you ever had times that you were kind of like really crushed about something, or like, what do you do to kind of work through those things?
I have. I've actually been, one time it was, because I had done maybe a couple things for them, and this was in a film, because I've been in a couple of films and music videos and stuff like that.
Cool.
And so it was like, well, we kind of want to see a different face this time, and I was like, oh, okay. So, you do
Yeah.
get that. And it's like, I guess, I don't know, when, when you, with kids, I haven't had kids, so, but I think this is how it goes, and this is how it's
Sure.
going for me, maybe, is, when they want something like right now, and if you give in, right, because I've seen it with my nieces,
Yes.
but if you wait a while, right, and maybe change their mind or go talk about something else, we forget about it. And so,
Right.
I just kind of like, okay, I really try to think that, like, when those moments do happen and I'm not called, I'm like, well, no, it's not me, it's my look, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to uh really, and I've always been very conscious, like, of skincare and stuff like that. And so
Sure.
now even more. And it doesn't actually, it's not the lotions you put on, actually. It's,
Yeah.
well, it is some
Part
of
of
it,
it, but
part of it, but a lot
part
of
of it.
it is like your body movement,
Yes. What you put
exercise,
in.
how much you drink, and like water wise, or even
Yeah.
alcohol or not, or, just it's a whole realm. It's not never just one thing. It's a lot of things. So
Yeah.
yeah. And you do need the energy to even say yes. And what is it asking for, on that date? And are you available, or are you going to be able to do it? Like, if it is asking you, I don't know, to climb 20 steps or whatever it is, or canoe or
Yeah.
quad, or
Yeah, exactly.
anything like that, right? If you have a wrist issue, you may not, like, it's just a lot of things, like, to consider and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
but I always try to remember the line that I was told, that there is room for everyone. So, I really try to shift my mindset.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah, go
Take
have a
the
good cup of
opportunity.
coffee, and then it'll be better.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. It it is that perspective shift, I think, is important. And I think sometimes people get, they go to a casting or they go to an audition and they get so like, I'm just waiting to hear back on this thing. And it's like, you just got to go do something else. Like, you've got to shift what you're doing, right? Because you drive yourself nuts and you won't get it. And then it's even worse, right? So,
It is totally. And that brings me back to, like, Sears catalogs, where,
yeah,
like, you go an audition, and then put it out of your mind, and then go
right.
do something else, because you're going to get the answer. Because I have missed out on a lot in my life years ago, because, I was worrying about this, or sabotaging myself, or whatever.
Yeah,
So, when you put an order in years ago for Sears, now for Amazon, you're
yeah,
not going to be like, oh, is it coming? Like, you put it in, you trust it's coming. You
yeah,
get your letter, your email saying it's on its way.
yeah.
Perfect.
Forget
We
about it.
can we can move on with life today, because it's coming tomorrow.
That's right.
And so yeah,
Great
yeah, that's the
analogy.
way it'll come. Like, and the more that we, kind of like, mess with the universe, if you will,
Yeah, sure.
um, it ain't gonna happen, Nick. It's not gonna happen. I mean, you have to take some action, but yeah,
Is the
can just
process.
leave
Yeah.
it alone for a while too. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. No, I like that a lot.
Hmm.
What about, and I don't know if it's depends kind of on the modeling that you do. I think Saskatchewan, I think we're a little bit insulated, thank God for some of that. But what are some things that you've experienced that you would say people should be cautious of, or they should be watching when if they're out shooting with people, or if they're,
Hmm.
booking things and that kind of thing?
Hmm. Well, there has been some stories out there, and I think one person was even charged in this last year, like a photographer and so
Yeah,
forth. I don't know the whole story. I'm not a huge political, and I don't like to listen to those stories, but I still like to be aware of them, right?
that's right.
Um, I think, just follow your gut feeling, right? And even if it says, oh my gosh, they're gonna pay you $1,000 or a lot of money or something. But if it
Eh,
doesn't feel right, and
yeah.
if it doesn't seem right, and maybe talk to another trusted person about it, right?
Mm,
To see. I have never had a bad experience, and I have met, like, some photographers, now that I think about it.
good.
We're out in the park, or we're, I mean, it's like, but or in their house, or the one time, we actually met at the mall, at a, like, in the
Oh,
food court,
that's a good idea.
and like, out in public. And so yeah, he wanted to know too. whether, hey, are we a good fit or not, because he wanted to
Yeah.
do, some shoots and stuff. And so, yeah, you can feel that dynamics, if you're going
Sure
to be
can.
a fit or not, and whether you want to bring that person into your home. And
Yep.
I would probably, feel the same way, and stuff like that. So, or, you can check them out on social media sometimes, and if they're out there, and if they're not out there, well, sometimes, you know,
Something right
but,
there. Yeah.
or tell someone, or, take pictures, like, or, know the address, the time,
Yep.
look all that up ahead of time, and, leave it, with someone trusted and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. But I always say, go with your gut feeling. Like, I don't
Yep.
know. Usually you're not wrong.
Right.
You can, yeah,
The spidey
yeah,
senses are tingling. There's something there, right?
yeah,
So
right. Yes, yes,
good.
exactly.
No, that's good advice and good things to be thinking about it.
Hmm.
It getting into trouble happens pretty fast sometimes, and so if you're not aware of ahead of time, a little bit of a plan, what we're going to do here, then things
Hmm.
go sideways on you pretty fast. So,
Yeah, and that would bring me also to, like, don't be afraid to ask questions. Like,
mm,
even if this was, say, ever your first, time ever,
yeah,
taking a photo shoot or something, like, have a list of questions, that, how long will this be? What are you going to do with my pictures? Am I going to get any? And when will this be delivered, and how? And, and on, right? And I think, because sometimes then, if they're not feeling that comfortable at the other end, then maybe it's not legit,
that's
and
right.
stuff. So, but yeah, I think for the most part, like, I want to think, everybody's good and stuff like that. But yeah, sometimes things can happen. So, but yeah.
No, for sure, absolutely. Shifting gears a little bit and kind of jumping back to
Mhm,
your weight loss journey and that sort of thing. People don't
mhm,
know about you. You got started modeling a little bit later in life,
mhm.
which is awesome. But what are some of the things that you kind of experienced younger? You talked a little bit about the insecurities and people's judgment and that kind of thing. Like looking back now on yourself, how were those how were those things? How have you worked through it? How would you tell yourself to maybe move through it faster or help yourself along if you're looking back on your younger self?
I think the bottom line is mindset. And I guess now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
was music.
Mm,
So when I was young, when I moved out on my own, and I I went and bought a stereo, if you will.
nice.
It had the 8-track, people,
Cool.
and the LP, the records, and the radio,
Yeah.
and instead of a TV, because most young teenagers, well, now it would be a phone and stuff like that, because you can get everything on there.
Yep.
But I bought that as opposed to a TV. I wasn't a huge TV lover.
Okay.
And so to this day, music has mindset and music, because yeah, if I mean, okay, some songs will totally turn you upside down,
Yeah.
but you have to be careful, right? If
Sure.
you are super down, some country songs might not be the best, but some
Right.
of the country songs nowadays are quite rock, like, I
Yeah.
mean, you can
Pretty
get a
hip.
lot
Yeah.
out of it. But I think that, like, music has just been probably a huge lifesaver for me.
Sure.
I have attended probably over 200 concerts in my lifetime,
Cool.
and some of them I have even attended alone, because I wanted to see whoever. I remember exactly who it was, but nobody wanted to go. No one could commit to that day and time and so forth. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and so I've always been that type of person, where I'm independent. I like people too, but I can do
Sure.
things independently if I need to.
Yep.
And that is one thing too. Sometimes with modeling, you're going to go on your own to that casting, or you're going to go on your own to that film or whatever. You're not going to have,
Yeah.
your friend along and stuff like that. So, you can get used to that as well. So, but yeah, I think music was a huge thing for me. And
It
so,
can really
and I
do.
love
Yeah.
everything. Like, I've gone to the symphony where they have the pop series, or I've
Cool.
gone to AC/DC, to Hank Williams Jr., to, oh, I don't know, Johnny. Like, I just love it
Yeah.
all. It's fabulous. Each one has its own I don't know, something that brings it to you.
Yep.
And so, yeah, and so that's how I got into doing hosting at actually it's CFCR, and so I've done that for a few years, and then now I do a lot of their ads, and go in, I don't know, once a month or every other month or whatever for their ads, and I like doing that a lot. So
Good.
yeah, so
Kind of
I
gets
don't know.
you. Sounds
Someday I don't know
fabulous.
about my voice, but I would like to like sing in a small band or a choir or
Yeah.
something.
Just do that for fun.
Yeah, just for fun.
It's music is a really healing thing if you're obviously there's the garbage in it too, but I mean if you use it wisely
It
and
is. And even like gospel, Christian, like I
mhm.
love that. Like Sunday nights, on our local radio station, we have like 2 hours of
Nice.
gospel music. Like what a way to start the week, right? For
Yeah,
me.
yeah, for sure.
I just love that. It's like it fills my heart, and it's so positive, and it just is a wonderful way to to zoom into the beginning of the week with a
Monday, yeah,
positive note like that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Anything to uplift you is worth a lot, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
good. No, that's super awesome. And it's something to be reminded of. I think sometimes I know there's kids out there and they listen to a song and it's just hits them in the right place and time when they're going through depression or whatever.
Mhm.
And that's okay because it helps in that moment, but just need to remember to find a new song when you're moving through that, right? So that you get something, you're not staying in
Yeah.
the same place all the time, right? So finding that new
Oh, for
inspiration.
sure.
So
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah. To
good.
find your
No,
groove.
that's
I did a film video, music video, and I had never heard of deathcore music.
okay.
But let me tell you, it was in an abandoned house, which I love abandoned
That's kind
photo
of fun.
shoots. Like I have searched, all kinds of places with that. But anyway, so because back in my day, it was called Headbanger, but Headbanger is mild compared to deathcore.
Yes.
But the bottom line is I always read all the lyrics because I'm just totally intrigued with it.
Yeah.
And so these guys, I won't dive into the whole thing, but it was so inspiring. Is where it was actually there was I think 3 or 4 band members, and so we were out on this this abandoned house and barn and whatnot, and so there was each one of them had we were like an angel, and I was like the mother angel to this band member,
Cool.
and this song was about his mother who had like 6 types of cancers.
Oh wow.
Like I'm almost in tears now about how honored I was. Like
Yeah.
seriously,
What a part to
it
play.
was an experience like no other. Like, and so that is the types of stuff like that I have been involved in. And so I know, and like you say, people often, ooh, and would you like to model, or do you want to come along? Because a few weeks ago we were looking for another couple. What I was doing, they were asking, no, okay, we got to
Yeah.
reframe the wording, right? And
Right.
yeah, so yeah, like that's just another opportunity. Like, and the words are outstanding. Like the lyrics,
Hmm.
you may not understand it because deathcore is
Yeah.
just a way
Kind of
different
extreme.
type of music, but it was a real gem of a day, let me tell you, and those
Well,
guys were too. So yeah,
well,
yeah, I was involved with that. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, what an experience and something to look back on too, right? So it's a story to
it
tell.
is. Yeah.
Cool. No, those are all part of it too. And it's one of those things where we all, I don't know, the journey of getting to I don't know, wherever the success thing that they talk about is just, again, we talked in the beginning, one step at a time, and having those experiences really builds into, these are the things that I've done and been able to experience. And when, you know, this comes to an end someday, you get to look back and say, hey, I got to do all that. And that's pretty cool, right? So,
It is actually because for so many years, 40 some years, I was working like the 9 to 5 office job.
okay.
And that's okay. I'm not saying there was anything wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it.
And I always a person has to remember what you know at the time, right? Like
Yes.
today, this is what I'm doing. Maybe tomorrow, like you're always learning and evolving
Yeah.
and pivoting and seeing what's out there. And it's nothing wrong with, if you change your mind or if you're still doing the same thing. Either
Yes.
way, it's good, right? It's
Yes.
because, often people will say, oh, are you still doing this? Like, oh, no, like, or whatever, like, you wonder and stuff. So yeah, either way, it's good.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. And just to own whatever decision you made, right? Because
Yeah.
it'll come to something better somewhere. So
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Right. Mm-hmm.
that's good. Next couple of years, what are the big dreams and ambitions for Lois?
Well, there's a couple of things. I've suddenly become a co-author a couple times. There's going to be another book
Suddenly.
out in April.
Very cool.
And they'll be out, so I can't, really say which ones they
Sure.
are
No.
right now. But, and of
We'll watch
course,
your socials.
it's touching on, how I've come to modeling or how I've come to do this, in my life kind of thing.
Yes.
And so I guess I put it out there, say, and this is another thing I do, you put it out to the universe or you write it down. I have a, a little board type thing.
Yeah.
And so when I was on vacation just a few weeks ago, I had put my, some of my pictures, not my photographs, like me modeling,
Yes.
into some magazines.
Cool.
So again, I might hear from them, maybe not, whatever. Suddenly there was like 3 emails, like
Ding, ding, ding.
that I'm in there, I'm published. And so that has, like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like I actually wanted that.
Congratulations.
And so now again, I'm looking into more magazines and stuff like that, of course.
Yeah.
And I just want to do more of that. And I am going to, and okay, this is something probably hardly anyone knows, is I'm attending CMTC 24 in May in Toronto.
Cool.
Like in a month or this May. And
Right
so that is like a huge competition and in different areas. And I'm in 5 competitions. And
Wow.
so I am in with the 20-year-olds because they don't have no age group. It's adult and 20. But what someone told me here just a while ago, they said, maybe you're lucky if not too many my age group show up because, there's going to be some, scouts or whoever that might be looking for my age group or the look that I have. So,
That's right.
I won't have that much competition.
Exactly.
So, I'm trying to think of it that way and just be positive and really take in the experience. And I've learned already like so much before I'm even there. And they're really, really supportive, and it's going to be a really good experience.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So, yeah. So there's always something, I think, just like you say, always like looking for something, taking one step at a time, and who knows from there. I don't, I'm hoping for callbacks. I'm putting it out there. So,
yes.
yeah. So that should be good.
Good. No, that's very exciting. And
Hmm.
lots of things on the go. That's the best way to be because things are going to connect for you wherever it turns out. So
I hope so. Yeah, they are. And the more that you believe it, I think the more it can come to you. I mean, granted, not all the time. Like bad things happen as well, or your day
sure.
doesn't go quite, how you thought.
Life is life. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, those things happen, right? Because that is just part of life, and it doesn't matter. I think, whether you're the top model or actor in New York or wherever. And
that's right.
So, and those are like, of course, I want to take part in Sask Fashion Week again this fall here.
Good.
And, I've made some contacts even like in Paris and
cool.
New York. Yeah. And so I'm not sure if that will happen, in the next year, but hopefully like in the next year or two, I want to do those fashion weeks and be involved with that. And yeah, but I'll do the CMTC in Toronto and kind of, gauge, see how things go from there. And and then make my plans.
Yeah, no, for sure. That
Mhm.
you'll run into all kinds of people there too. That'll be kind of
I
get you in the right
imagine so.
direction
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
cool.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
One of my favorite questions to ask in this podcast, and I mean maybe it means a little different depending where you are in life and your career and that kind of thing. But if Instagram blows up or your social media is all of a sudden you have more followers than you ever know what to do with, what's something Lois wants to share with all of them?
Oh, wow. Well, that is one of my main goals, and I haven't figured it out yet, is how to get more followers. I'm really trying. I am applying for, to be an ambassador. And of course, half the time, it's like, oh, you don't have enough followers. So I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, we'll try again. And and I know that there is the little trick out there where you can like buy them, but I have not done that because I'm not sure if that's real, and I like to
worth the
keep
time.
things real.
Yeah,
I'm not, I don't know, don't want to be like a fake person and stuff like
sure.
that. That just has never been my style or to work for it and stuff. But I did get signed on with one company here, just last week. And so, that right there just builds you up again. And
Yes,
so, and then I keep emailing, how can I apply to be an ambassador or affiliate or something like that. So
sure.
I think a person just has to keep trying and keep posting. You got to be out there. And what I've learned is that, every day or twice a day or whatever, right? And
Yes,
see what some of the other people do. And I think, I used to think, or, I maybe didn't know, but it's an investment, to learn from some of the best, like how do you get this many followers? What should I do? So
yes,
I'm going to look into that and,
yeah.
yeah, do that.
Well, those are good
Hmm.
things to pursue and experience because it all does. Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, those are the measurements in the world and the things we need to strive for. So what are you gonna
It
do, right?
it
So
totally is that
yeah.
social media is the way to go. Like it seriously is. You don't just pick up a phone anymore and talk to people and stuff like that. So
Even if you did, they'd still want to see your follower count. So right.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. How many people do you have on your list? How many contacts? Yeah, your
Yeah,
address book.
right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Good. Cool. Any parting thoughts before we close this off today that you wanted to share?
Oh, wow. Well,
Get through your list.
um, I just I'm really happy where I am right now. And if
Good.
anyone is new or thinking about it, my thing would be like, it doesn't matter if it's modeling or if it's whatever, acting or whatever you want to do, work in a clothing store, like it doesn't matter. If it's something you like, don't wait for the ads to come out. Like that's how I've gotten like a lot of jobs, not just in modeling, but in other things. Like go to that store, find out who the manager is or who,
Yeah.
who's doing it, or who's the person to contact, or, whatever it is, whatever you have a passion for,
Yes.
just like even take that first small step because sometimes, it can be too overwhelming to dive right in. And often those first steps are okay too, because why dive right in? Because then you're just going to miss what's from here to
Yeah.
there, right?
Exactly.
And so that's kind of maybe my little advice, and that's how it's gone for me, right? It just is evolving, and it still is. Like it's still, I'm doing different competitions now, and who knows where that will lead from there, because I'll have that on my resume that
Yes.
I've competed or and stuff like that. And so every little bit, and any training that you do or anything like that, like that all adds up
It does.
to become who you want to be. And if you don't like it, then move to something else. Like
Right.
there's
At least you
there's
know that.
tons of options out there in this life. Like and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Like
Right.
I'm one of these people, or I will find all kinds of things, to do, that doesn't cost a lot or whatever. But and
Yeah.
have fun, right? Like time is ticking. Let me tell you. Like
Sure.
it's going fast and it's going to go faster. Like it
Yeah.
just,
Weird how that
yeah,
happens, but it
yeah,
does.
yes, it goes too fast. So yeah,
Yeah.
spend it wisely with what you love to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So well
Yeah.
said. So such good advice, or Lois. I yeah, that is fabulous. So
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
appreciate you sharing that. I think, yeah, there's a lot of people getting into the industry and wanting to do something big and exciting, and there's so much opportunity in the world, and it's like, can I make it? Can I do it? And like you say, just keep pushing forward and doing what you love to do, because in the end, that's probably all that's going to matter anyway, right? So
Absolutely. It for sure is. It really is. And also, don't mind what other people are thinking or saying about you.
yes,
Like, because half the time it's in
who
your own
cares?
mind. It's in your own
Yes,
mind. It's not even, those other people aren't even, like,
they're thinking about
do
themselves.
what's for you, only you. Like, that
Yes,
is like, I mean, yeah, you need to care, about your family and friends and stuff like that too. But if it's safe, or you have a huge passion for it and stuff like that, and I say, just do
go
it,
for it.
what's right for you. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, perfect. That's awesome. Those are great parting words. Where do we follow you if people want to get connected with you that way?
On Instagram, I'm only on 2, and I've thought about, oh my gosh, everyone's on all these other ones, and I'm like, I'm keeping it to 2. That's it. And that's what a lot of people do, I guess. But for me right now, that's where I'm at. So Instagram is fabulous.05. Fabulous was taken, so I had to go with .05, which is okay, because I like the letter 5, the number
There you
5.
go.
So that's my birthday. And on Facebook is LOUUNGER. So yeah.
Nice.
So Lou Unger, yes, but I'm
Go.
Lois Unger. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, go give Lois a follow. I think she's got lots of things to share yet, and somebody to watch for. She's seen the opportunities, she's found them, so you'll learn lots from her and just be inspired by some of the things she does. So
Oh, thank you very much. Thank
yeah.
you for having me.
No, thanks for joining. We really appreciate your time today. So
Awesome.
cool. Take care. Have a
Okay.
great day.
Thanks, everyone.